I myself, I'm a Barbie lover. I still have my Barbies. I actually have a Barbie collection at home. Even this weekend I went down to buy a new one for my collection.
I actually grew up with a lot of Barbie dolls. Most of them were presents from family members. I'm not really sure I wanted many of them, but they were like the logical present that everybody gave young girls back then. By back then, I mean the 80s and the 90s.
I had the Barbie house. I had Peaches and Cream Barbie, and I had some Valentine's Day Barbie. These are the older versions. And yeah, I really enjoyed playing with them.
Like a lot of girls my age, I was completely influenced by Barbies. I had a diverse range of Barbie dolls that I used to pretend were the Spice Girls. And one of them was black with very long straight hair. And the other one had green hair, which I used to pretend was Ginger Spice.
I love Barbies. I've always loved Barbies. I still love Barbies. I grew up with Barbies, playing Barbies. For us, it was a time when my friends, my cousins, my sisters, we'd all get together and play Barbies. First thing we would do in the morning is, they wake up very early and play with Barbies.
I did grow up with Barbies. I grew up on a farm, so I was looking for anything that was kind of girly and fun, but I don't think it ever really had any impact on my personal image.
For Barbies, back in the days, the standards were very straight. They had straight hairs and they mostly were blonde with blue eyes. Although I had a couple of Barbies with brown hair, they always had a straight hair, and I have curly hair. So I had an obsession about their straight hair, and probably I never connected with them because of the hair issue. And for a while I started cutting their hair to make them more stylish, to make them look more like me.
I remember I questioned it to myself and to my mom that why don't I have blue eyes? It was my Barbie dolls were always blonde and they used to have blue eyes. And my mom used to say that you're beautiful as you are. You don't have to have blue eyes to be beautiful. So that's how I tackled with this. But it was, as you see your Barbie dolls, do you think that's the only beauty definition of humankind? But it's not.
I definitely can see how for some people they may have been influenced by Barbie's image. It just wasn't something that I really took on board. I just enjoyed playing with it as a toy, but I can certainly see how other people may have looked at that and thought, this doesn't look anything like me.
I think if I look back at my childhood and my interaction with Barbie dolls, yes, the color played a big role, that they were white and I was brown. But what played a bigger role was their body type, because they always had they had these proportions that looked perfect. And later on, scientists projected that actually the female Barbie doll wouldn't be able to walk on her legs because of the way she was proportioned. And that's what we wanted to look like. That's what I wanted to look like. I grew up thinking those were the perfect proportions from my bust to my hips, and that's how I should look, and I should have this impossibly tiny waist. And that's what I aspired to be, and I thought that I couldn't be beautiful or accepted, or that I wouldn't be coveted by other people or wanted by men if I didn't look like that. And it takes a lot of time to undo all of that learning. It's not all from the Barbie doll, but a big part of who I was while I was growing up, what I wanted to be, was influenced by these plastic rubber dolls.
The imagination of a child is very impressionable, and so I would say that yes, I was influenced by Barbie dolls. Unfortunately, what that did was that it limited my understanding of beauty, and so therefore the reality of beauty was skewed. I wouldn't say having a Barbie doll was the only factor that influenced my idea of beauty. I think it was part of the package. There was television, there were advertisements, and together they created a very toxic mix, which influenced the way that I saw beauty growing up.
Did it influence me or affect me in any way? I don't think it did. I don't think it affected me in any way. I just had fun playing with Barbies.
I grew up with, a pretty mixed, diverse group of girls, kids, as a military child. So I grew up with Black and Latino families at military bases, and we would play with each other's Barbies, and I noticed when I was young that a lot of them were playing with white Barbie dolls, and it just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I don't know why it took this long. I think it makes really good sense. I just think they should have done it a really long time ago. But yes, I'm glad they did it, and I've seen some of the new ones and I really like them.
I think it's a very good move, you know, by Mattel to be introducing different types of Barbie dolls. You know, this because it really does show how there are different types of people in the world. Children can see Barbie dolls as all one, just the same way as they should be seeing people, you know, all one, not different in any way.
I belong to a generation of young women who probably look at this and think to themselves, wow, I wish I had this, because I can honestly tell you that many of us are still grappling and dealing with the legacy of the toxic brand that we were taught. And in that, I would say that we're probably still healing. Having said that, I think there is a structural issue at hand when we look at issues of race, when we look at issues of identity, when we look at issues of difference and diversity that needs to be completely overhauled. We need to look at the way that we educate our children in public schools. We need to look at the way in which we are producing advertisements, when we're selling beauty products. So I think that it's part of the conversation that we need to have as a society in teaching young girls that diversity is beautiful and that beautiful is varied.